You've come for the egg.
Here it is.
Here's why Syrax's dragon eggs were so important to Daemon Targaryen that he stole them. Did you know that 3 small dragon eggs, hidden in the cradle of Syrax, Rhaenyra Targaryen's beloved dragon, were powerful enough to change the course of the Dance of the Dragons? Did you know that Daemon Targaryen, the rogue prince himself, risked everything to steal them, not for gold, not for glory, but for something far more dangerous? Today, we're diving into the shocking truth behind Syrax's dragon eggs, why they mattered so much to Daemon, what secrets they held, and how their theft shaped the bloody civil war that tore House Targaryen apart. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why these eggs weren't just stone shells, they were weapons of destiny. First, let's talk about Syrax. Syrax wasn't just another dragon. She was the bonded mount of Rhaenyra Targaryen, the woman destined to claim the Iron Throne. Named after a Valyrian goddess, Syrax was fierce, golden, and one of the few dragons tamed and raised within the dragon pit of King's Landing. Now here's the detail most fans overlook. Syrax laid eggs. Multiple eggs. And those eggs weren't just potential dragons, they were symbols of Rhaenyra's power. Every Targaryen who hoped to claim the throne knew one thing: dragons made kings. And whoever controlled the hatchlings of Syrax could tip the balance of war. This is where Daemon enters the picture. Daemon was no ordinary prince. He was the younger brother to King Viserys, a seasoned warrior, and the kind of man who lived for chaos. He wasn't content to sit in the shadows. He wanted legacy. He wanted fire and blood. But most of all, Daemon wanted to make sure his bloodline, his children with Rhaenyra, had dragons of their own. Because in the world of Westeros, a child without a dragon wasn't just vulnerable, they were politically worthless. So when Syrax's eggs appeared, Daemon didn't see them as simple stones. He saw them as insurance, as weapons, as the future of his family. Let's pause for a second and break this down. In House Targaryen, dragon eggs weren't toys. They were treasures. They were often placed in the cradles of newborn princes and princesses, in the hopes that the egg would hatch alongside the child, bonding rider and dragon from birth. Think about it. Daemon's children, even his potential heirs, needed dragons to secure their place in the brutal Targaryen succession war. Without dragons, they were pawns. With dragons, they were players. That's why the eggs mattered. They weren't just for Rhaenyra. They were for her legacy. And Daemon wasn't about to let anyone else decide who those dragons belonged to. Now comes the heart of the story, the theft. Daemon didn't simply walk into the dragon pit and ask for the eggs. No, he stole them. He took Syrax's eggs without permission, igniting suspicion, anger, and fear across the court. Why steal them? Because Daemon never trusted the Targaryen council, never trusted the Hightowers, and never trusted that his children would be given their rightful dragons. By taking the eggs, Daemon was sending a message: my bloodline will not beg for power. We will take it. This single act of theft wasn't just about eggs. It was an act of war. A declaration that Daemon Targaryen would carve his own path, even if it meant tearing apart his brother's realm. Here's where it gets even deeper. Syrax's eggs weren't random. They came from Rhaenyra's dragon. That meant any hatchling would be directly tied to her claim, her fire, her blood, her destiny. By stealing them, Daemon wasn't just protecting his family. He was intertwining his legacy with hers, ensuring that their union, their children, would forever be seen as rightful dragon riders. The eggs symbolized more than power. They symbolized loyalty, union, and the dangerous future of House Targaryen. Fast forward to the Dance of the Dragons. These eggs, and others like them, became central to the war. Both the Greens and the Blacks scrambled to claim dragon eggs, hatchlings, and riders. Every egg meant another potential dragon on the battlefield. And in a war where dragons burned cities to ash, one egg could mean the difference between victory and defeat. So when Daemon stole Syrax's eggs, he wasn't just thinking about today. He was thinking about tomorrow's war. He was building an arsenal before the first sword was drawn. So, why were Syrax's eggs so important? Because they represented survival. They represented power. They represented the future of House Targaryen's most dangerous prince. For Daemon, stealing the eggs wasn't a crime. It was destiny. He knew that whoever held the dragons, held the realm. And by tying his children to the hatchlings of Syrax, Daemon ensured that his bloodline would always ride into war on the backs of fire-breathing gods. So next time you hear someone say, they were just dragon eggs, remember this: in Westeros, nothing is just anything. Every egg, every dragon, every choice carries the weight of kingdoms. Daemon Targaryen knew this. That's why he risked it all. That's why he stole them. And that's why Syrax's eggs will forever be remembered, not as simple stones, but as the sparks that lit the fire of civil war. The political chess game. From a political standpoint, this theft was genius. Daemon understood that perception was everything. By announcing that his unborn child with Mysaria would sleep with a dragon egg, he was forcing Viserys into a corner. If the king ignored him, it would look like weakness. If he reacted, it risked escalating into open conflict. And what did Viserys do? He sent Otto Hightower, the hand of the king, along with Sir Criston Cole and a small contingent of soldiers to confront Daemon on Dragonstone. It was a tense standoff that could have easily turned bloody. But Daemon, ever the master of psychological warfare, never intended to start a war that day. He wanted to show that he could embarrass the king, outmaneuver his advisors, and command the respect of dragons, all without drawing a sword. By the time Rhaenyra herself arrived on Syrax to confront him, Daemon had already made his point. The egg was returned, but the message was clear. Daemon. The symbolism of the egg. Let's not overlook the deeper symbolism of the egg itself. Dragons are tied to the fate of the Targaryens. They are power incarnate, fire made flesh. To cradle a dragon egg is to cradle the future. Daemon wasn't just holding a rock. He was holding the potential to birth a creature of unimaginable strength, a living emblem of Targaryen supremacy. By stealing the egg, Daemon was effectively stealing the future. It was a promise to his enemies that he could create life, create fire, and create chaos whenever he wished. It was also a reminder of his own claim to Valyrian blood and the right to rule. In a family where dragons decided kings, this was as powerful as any sword. The personal side. Love, jealousy, and family. But politics alone don't explain Daemon. He was a man of passion as much as strategy. His relationship with Rhaenyra was complicated long before their eventual marriage. At this point in the story, Rhaenyra was the named. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe for more House of the Dragon deep dives, and tell me in the comments, do you think Daemon was justified in stealing the eggs, or did he cross a line that doomed his family forever?